The people of Greece shocked much of the rest of Europe by the results of their parliamentary elections on May the 6th, when they gave no party a clear majority and put the Syriza coalition of the radical left in second place. Syriza opposes the bailout package or memorandum, which gives Greece billions of euros in exchange for a very tough austerity package of cuts and tax increases. My guest today is their top economic advisor, Yiannis Mηλιος. If Syriza wins the rerun election on June the 17th, do they really believe they can stay in the Eurozone while tearing up the rules? Yiannis Mηλιος, welcome to HardTalk.
Hello,
Professor Mηλιος, do you like being in the Euro?
Yes, we say that we want to continue to be a part of the monetary union of the Eurozone, and we also believe that our policies will stabilize the Eurozone, will not push it to a disaster.
So you will miss it when you have to leave?
I hope we are sure confident
that we will not ask to leave, because we face now as a country an insoluble equation. We have to pay 110 billion euros taxes until the year 2020. We have to balance the budget, and we have to create funds to boost growth. This is an insoluble equation because austerity makes things worse and worse. The Greek debt is now a pot of Danaidon, that is a barrel without bottom, and it's not possible for the citizens of Europe to continue to put money in this pot of Danaidon.
Right.
We want to stop this.
But there are many people, many economists, who will agree with your analysis of the problem, that you're in a position which is impossible. But they think that your solution means inevitably you will have to leave. And members of Syriza, for instance, Alekos Alavanos, said the left must warn people responsibly, not only by telling them that the road away from the bailout is also the road that leads to exiting the euro. You are on your way out.
Okay, Alavanos is not a member of Syriza. He was a former member and the former president of the coalition. Now we are a party and we are something else.
Okay, but a former very senior member.
Wrong.
Okay, but the point is there are people all over Europe and in Greece who think maybe you should get out. Maybe that's the best thing. Get out of the euro, then you can solve this impossible problem.
I give this option zero probability. If one country leaves the euro, then the Eurozone will stop being a monetary union. It will be a vulnerable fixed exchange rate area. That is, the one country after the other will follow the exit path. The re-evaluation of financial risk of the Italian, the Portuguese, the Spanish debt will lead to double-digit interest rates in all those countries, and this will be the end of the Eurozone.
But isn't that blackmail? You're saying if you don't do what we say, the Eurozone's going to collapse. And it's not just up to you to decide, is it?
Well, I think it's a form of blackmail indeed. The forces that want to continue with austerity policies, and I mean not only in Greece, but all over Europe, use this argument that we have either to comply with austerity and neoliberalism or leave the Eurozone. But the meaning of the European Union is rather democracy, not the blackmailing of people that they have no choice. They have to follow the same policy forever. And I'm confident that the leadership of the European Union will realize that the people of any country have the right to choose an alternative policy.
Indeed.
A policy of... Okay.
Indeed. But the other 400 million people in the Eurozone have got every right to say, we're not going to give you any more money if you don't obey the rules. For example, the German Interior Minister, Hans-Peter Friedrich, anyone who wants to see help has to show a certain amount of seriousness, a certain amount of reasonableness. David Cameron is saying, you, the people of Greece, have a choice. You do have a choice. You could either stick with your commitments, or if you vote another way, you're voting to leave. So everybody's got a choice, including the Eurozone members who think that you're doing the wrong thing.
I think that the situation is a little bit more complicated. We do not have Greece on the one hand and all the other Europeans on the other hand. We have different policies in all parts of Europe, and there are also alternative policies and parties, trade unions and so on, which oppose these policies. What we are saying is that we want to discuss with our partners about alternative policies, about another architecture of the Eurozone. And we have a lot of voices all over Europe. For example, Jean Pisani-Ferry of the Bruegel Institute, who said that it is not possible to consider the one policy as the only option, the austerity policy.
Right.
We have to find a way out, and this is also what Juncker said, Juncker himself.
Okay.
So
yeah, but
we have to open the discussion.
Okay, but you're talking in a very reasonable way about opening discussions and seeing where we can go. But another Syriza MP, Panagiotis Lafazanis, says the abolition of the memorandum is non-negotiable. In other words, you're not going to accept austerity. There is no negotiation.
I have to explain this. We say that austerity is not negotiable. That is the bylaws, which cut wages, cut pensions, which destroy the welfare state, which are going to put more taxes on the poor. This is not negotiable. This has to stop. On the other hand, the ECB is the central bank of Greece as well as of the other 16 member states of the Eurozone. We have to discuss with the European Central Bank, with the other countries, the partners in the EU and in the Eurozone, to find a solution about the debt. And we think that the way the German debt was regulated, was cut and was put on a clause of growth in the year 1953 is a good basis to start discussions.
Right. But everybody understands that Greece is hurting. Everybody has sympathy for Greece. But you're talking about guaranteed minimum income, according to your May the 6th election programme, or unemployment benefit, medical care, social protection, VAT reduction, a moratorium on debt servicing. You haven't got the money. You just can't do all this.
We realize how difficult the situation is. That is, we say, first of all, we stop with austerity, no more cuts. Then, if we achieve growth by having a moratorium in tax paying for some years, if we agree with our partners on such a policy and we achieve growth again, then we have to see, starting from below and going up, the increase in the pensions, the salaries and so on of the people who suffered very big cuts during the last 3 years.
Right. But just to be absolutely clear, that means you will not pay any of the debt that you owe from the start because you can't do it following the policies you've just said.
We say that we have to discuss about a moratorium in paying the taxes for, let's say, 5 years with our partners, and then to find a solution in paying the debt on the basis of a common agreement which will contain the level of interest rates, the dates of repayment, and also a possible haircut of some part of the debt. That is a solution which will be beneficial to both sides, because if we cannot pay the debt as it is now, if the debt is a barrel without bottom, this is not a good situation for both sides.
Right.
Neither for Greece nor for the lenders.
But as you know, the lenders, or at least the most important voice within them, Germany, Guido Westerwelle, the German foreign minister, has said, if Greece ends the reform process, then I can't see that the money can be paid out. You're not going to get the money.
We disagree with Mr. Schäuble and the German leadership, and we strongly believe that Europe and the Eurozone is not only them.
But they have the money. They're the people with the money, and they're saying, for instance, the Interior Minister again, we're not willing to pour money into a bottomless pit. That's how he sees Greece, a bottomless pit.
Okay, we are a community of 17 states. It's not the Germans and the Greeks. And we say that we have to find a solution which is beneficial for all sides. We have seen that in France, policy seems to change. What Mr. Hollande said during the electoral campaign and what he continues to say now is something different from what we discussed until this point. So we are confident that starting from Greece and in other countries, for example, the Netherlands has elections in a short time from now, and it's not clear who the strongest party will be.
Indeed.
We see a wind of change all over Europe, and we are confident that we
What's that about? Well, this is something which started from many people's initiatives and has to be also discussed on a democratic and open level. But what we are asking now is not a conflict with Germany or something like a revenge. We are talking about a reasonable solution to a problem which is not only a Greek problem, it's a European problem.
You made that absolutely clear. You made that absolutely clear. But I'm trying to figure out here why Syriza is not responsible, I'm sure you would say, for the mess Greece is in right now. And Angela Merkel's government is hardly responsible for what happened in 1942 in Greece. So why are you talking about World War II reparations? You really think Germany owes you something?
No, we say that the way the German debt was haircut and renegotiated in the year 1953 is a good way, is a good basis to discuss for the present Greek and European debt. That is to combine the repayment of interest with the growth of the economy. An economy which is in a recession like the recession we face now with minus 6.5% in the year 2012 cannot repay its debt. This must be clear, and we have to discuss on a reasonable basis.
Right. Can you understand, though, that as seen, I know you've said repeatedly it's not just for Germany, but Germany, in effect, are the paymasters as the strongest economy in Europe. And seen in Germany, I've just been in Berlin fairly recently, the Greek problem is this, that some of your richest people don't pay taxes, that you don't work hard enough as a nation or long enough as a nation, you have a very bloated state, and you've paid yourself public sector wage increases of 50% between 1999 and 2007, which you couldn't afford. You've got to cut this.
Well, the actual problem is that the rich people do not pay taxes, and we are the only party who can change this. We are the only party which has nothing to do with the payroll lists of Siemens and the other scandals which devastated our economy and our public sector, because we strongly believe that there were other multinational corporations and not only Siemens, which paid a lot of money to politicians in order to take some jobs. And we say also that another problem is that we have to change the public sector, and especially the Ministry of Economics, in order to be able to collect taxes, because it's not only a matter of tax coefficients, it's a matter of how effective these agencies are.
Right.
And we see that according to the macroeconomic data, Greece collects at least 5% less taxes as a percentage of the GDP compared to the European average.
So,
this has to change.
So just
the poor people shall not pay shall not be the ones who only pay taxes.
Okay, but so then you broadly agree with the former French minister and MEP Alain Lamassoure, who says the answer to the Greek problem is to stop living scandalously beyond its means and to stop paying people to do nothing.
You know, this is not a problem of the Greek people. This is a very wrong way to put the problem, to put the question. It's only the specific social strata of the society which did this. And these are the financial elites which were very closely interconnected with the political elites. These political elites, that is the PASOK and the New Democracy parties, which ruled the country for decades and created this corrupt environment, have to go. And we are here to make them go.
Okay, I noticed that Syriza's leader, Alexis Tsipras, said that told the European Union, if you sink us, we'll take you down with us. That's pretty much what you think too, isn't it?
I didn't understand the whole of the question. Can you repeat, please?
Okay. Mr. Tsipras said to the European Union, talking of the Eurozone, if you sink us, we'll take you down with us. That is blackmail.
No. What he said is what I also said, that it is impossible, according to our analysis, to have a country thrown out of the Eurozone and the Eurozone continuing to exist. Because as I told you, and as many analysts say, this will mean a spontaneous re-evaluation of financial risk on the side of the financial markets, and this will lead to a catastrophe, that is to interest rates of double digit, of an Italian and a Spanish debt, first of all, which cannot be implemented by any authority.
Indeed, you did explain that, but I'm just trying to get to the point,
this was what Tsipras said. He was not trying to blackmail anybody, but
that
to
is blackmail.
That
is blackmail. To say you're describing it as a fact. And you are saying, if you throw us out, the Eurozone will unravel. And you may very well be right, but you are saying to everybody in the Eurozone, do what we tell you, otherwise we will pull the whole house down. You're not saying that.
No. We are saying open the discussion, because it's a crisis which threatens all of us, not only Greece, not only Ireland or Portugal, who are under a bailout program, but the whole of the Eurozone. And we have to discuss about a new role of the ECB, about a new role of the surplus and the deficit countries, about all the problems which had proven to make this Eurozone very vulnerable to speculation.
Do you worry that your party, and particularly Mr. Tsipras, is completely out of his depth in this? He's never held any job, senior political job in any government anywhere, and your party has never been in power anywhere.
Our party has not governed yet. However, we have very educated, very well educated cadres which can play a very important role in a new government. We are going to depend on the people. We are going to depend on experts. We are going to depend on ideas that come from everywhere, and we will open a discussion on a European level and maybe beyond that, and we are confident that we will have a very effective program which will change the course of the country, will stop corruption and will boost growth again.
But Professor Mηλιος, I take it you would not get on a plane if the pilot said, I've never flown before, and you were asking the people of Greece to get on board with Mr. Tsipras, and he's never been in government before, and nobody in your party's ever been in government before. It's a big risk.
You know, the people of Greece have realized that we need a change, and that the former pilot was leading the plane to hit a mountain or something like that, or to be thrown in the sea, and this has to change. The things are more complicated. We are not speaking about a pilot, but about a whole movement which has the experts and has the experience to change things.
Mr. Tsipras also said it's a war between peoples and capitalism, and Greece is on the front line of that war. Is that how you see it?
Well, it's one way to describe things, because in all countries we see that these austerity policies benefit specific elites, the capitalist elites. And on the other hand, we have this, what is said also on the other side of the Atlantic. We are the 99% of the population, that is, the majority has interests which very often conflict with the interests of these elites. So it's another short way to describe the situation that all the developed world lives right now.
But some people listening to this will think it sounds like student politics. It's not serious.
I told you, this does not describe our program. Our program is very specific, speaks about social justice, a just tax system, which according to our constitution will put the burden to the ones who have to pay and must pay because they have evaded taxes for decades, the ones that do not think about the right of the people or the decisions of the people, but run to move their money to speculation or outside of the country, thinking only about their profit, and the interest of the majority of the people, which must at least decide what they want.
Are you confident that you will be the biggest party after these new elections?
Yes, yes. We discuss with the people every day. We make speeches. We hear the people. We let people tell us what they think, and we are confident that what has started 1 year ago on the big squares of Greece, and which expressed itself on the 6th of May in the previous elections, will go forward, and we will be the strongest, the first party.
The first party. And do you expect this summer a lot of tourists will simply not come to Greece because they're worried about instability, and thousands of German tourists will say, we're not going there?
No, we expect exactly the opposite. We are confident that we will be able to stabilize the situation within a few months, to show to the world that now a new era starts for Greece, and this new era means also that not only tourists but also investment will come into the country.
Professor Mηλιος, thank you very much for joining me on HardTalk.
Thank you also.